Good morning, and welcome to another episode of Paint and Coffee. Today I'm going to try to get as much done of these four pigs as I can. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Get my coffee out of the way. By the way, if this is your first time watching, my name is Daniel Cervantes. I am the Christian Adventure Gamer. And in my painting videos, I want you to learn how to paint your miniatures and also learn any little tricks that I've picked up along the way. Or if you have any insights or helpful tips for me, feel free to leave those in the comments below. But kind of getting back to this now. And so I have painted all the miniatures for the Grimm forests except for the pigs. I left those for last because I can actually tackle these at more than one at a time because of similarities in color and paint. I don't have to worry about one paint color here and then having to finish the miniature before I can start doing a whole other paint color, because they're similar paint colors. So like, for instance, all four of these pigs have white shirts, so that's a linen white for me. This person's got a pink, or not pink, a purple like sash. I'm not sure if you can classify it as purple, but then she has a lighter purple, which what I'll do is I'll end up painting it the same color, but then I may use like a purple wash on this and then a Nolan oil wash on this. Sorry, you can't see. So like they all got white shirts, and then she has the lighter purple dress, which I could use the purple wash to kind of make it look more purplish. Then I can use a Nolan oil on his to make it look darker. And then she's got a yellow shirt on, and she's got a yellow hat on, and some straw there. So definitely have some options there. So the first thing I'm going to do is start with the sun yellow. I'm going to paint there we go. Just kind of spread these out a little bit more. Paint her hat and the straw the same color. And these are partially pink because I airbrushed them. I wasn't really trying to be careful with how much pink I got on different places, because I knew that I was going to be, painting things other color. I just did it to get the majority of the skin pink. And so how are you guys doing today? Hopefully you got your coffee cups right next to you, maybe even in your hand. Or maybe you got some paint brushes and some paint and your miniatures right next to you, because you're wanting to paint with me. And that's completely okay too. As I continue to learn how to paint, I'd like for you to learn how to paint with me. Right. Then, trying to think of how I want to do this. Normally when I paint a miniature, I use my little miniature holder, but since I'm going to be going back and forth through several different miniatures. There's no sense of me using that on just one, because I only have the one. So I will trying to decide if I really want to paint the hat the same color or paint it a canary yellow. That way I can paint her shirt the same color, but I don't think it matters. I'll just use this because it looks like a straw hat, so it makes sense to paint it the same color as the straw. So, switch to a little finer brush. I started off by priming these white to help the color pop. White primer helps bright colors be brighter and helps darker colors look darker. And then what I'll do is I'm going to let this hat dry and then give it another coat to help it look more yellow. Nice thing about reefer paints is it doesn't take very long for them to dry. And then the next thing I can do is I can paint. There's two male pigs here. They have the same color hat on, which is like an olive green. And then this one actually has an olive green, like, well, I guess it's kind of a tan, but almost looked like it was olive green. Almost a tan overalls. This guy's wearing like purple pants. So maybe I'll do purple first, just to get that knocked out of the way, since there's so much purple I got to do. I was looking at her hand here. I don't know if you can see or not, but there looks like a mold mark here, which almost looks like she's wearing gloves. And so I may just paint her hands linen to make it look like she's wearing gloves, because that's what kind of looks like there. And that would make sense because she's shopping in the market and the way she's dressed and stuff. And her base is purple as well. Because I want to have those colors somewhere on these pigs, that way people know which board goes to them. So there's a blue board, purple board, green board, and a red board. Okay, so I'm going to need to get a brush that I can angle, because there's some tight spots I can't really get into with a straight brush. I actually have an angled brush. Let that draw on her. I may need to do another coat of purple on that one. Alright, now this guy. His base is green. And he's wearing what looks like purple pants and purple cloak. The only thing on him green is his hat. Trying to think of how I want to do this. Do I want to do purple pants and purple sash? Because it looks like purple on here. Yeah, I can, because it's going to look like, obviously the grass and stuff is going to be green. Yeah, why not? And actually what I could do is, instead of using Nolan oil on his pants and sash like I plan to, I could use a green. That way it has like a green hone to it. Hopefully it doesn't look brown. And I'll test it first too. I probably could have shook the purple a little bit better. It's a little watery, a little runny, it looks like. That's okay, I can always put another coat on it. And so I have an update coming out. I've been not necessarily busy, but my family's been busy, which has not allowed me to do a whole lot of videos. And my wife and youngest children are actually away for the week, which gives me a lot more time to do videos, edit videos without a 2-year-old screaming or a 5-month-old screaming. And so you're going to see more videos this week than normal, obviously because of that, but I'm going to try to do my best to kind of keep up with doing at least one video a week. I think that's good. But then I'm finding that sometimes I'm working at another employer throughout the week as well. Or well, not throughout the week, but the week is something like one day of the weekend I may go to work at a sewing and vacuum repair place. It's a place I used to work, but when I moved back up here, the job that I took wasn't giving me the hours that they told me I would have, and so I was working part-time for this store owner. His name is Adam, and he was very helpful with allowing me to get some part-time work in. That way I could provide some means for my family while I was in transition, because I ended up finding a different job. But I like to help him out because, I think that's the right thing to do. And I like it. I like repairing sewing machines. I'm kind of a tinkerer, obviously, if I'm sitting here painting and these little miniatures and stuff. I have that knack. And it comes natural almost to me. So and I'm getting it somewhat on his legs. That's okay because I plan to touch up anyways. More concerned with making sure I just get it on his pants than I am with his legs. And then, like, if I get some on his shirt, it's okay because I still got to paint that linen white anyways, which the linen is normally a little thicker, so it's helpful. Let that dry some. I'll put a second coat on it. Come back to her. Put a second coat on her. Paint shrinks when it dries too, so sometimes you may have to put a second coat on things. Right. So his sash, there we go. His pants. Alright, so let that dry some more. Alright, so what color can I do next? I could probably paint her skirt. It's a green with like a lighter green, but I'm gonna paint that in aquamarine. When I say her, I mean this one here. So I'm gonna use Viper green. Hopefully that's enough there. See what time it is. I got some time. The goal here is to try to get as much of this done as I can. And I'm not going to be too concerned about the job I do right now because there's going to be some there's going to be some touch-ups that I'm going to have to do. So, like right here, there's a lip, which is supposed to be like the aquamarine. Then there's this green in between, and then green underneath. And that's okay if I touch that up. One thing I don't like is how they made the miniatures look like they're almost leaning forward, because it gets really hard to get underneath here and paint, and see especially. For this one, I may just use like a blue wash. Kind of make it look more blue, stand out a little bit more. For her skirt, at least, the rest of it is going to be doing like a Seraphim sepia. Notice that I had a wash open. That's an accident waiting to happen. So that one's there. Now to do an olive green. Or maybe I'll just do the, let's see where these guys are at with drying wise. There we go. Trying to hide any brush strokes that showed up during the paint because I don't think I shook the paint hard enough. Very important for you to make sure that you shake your paint before you use it. Shake it well. There we go. That guy is about done. Now she's all done. All right. He's done finally. Alright, now with the purple. Alright. Now what I can do is actually do the yellow on her on the market shirt. That way I can go into doing all the linen white. Smaller brush. Use a canary yellow. Make sure I shake this up really well. Take another drink of my coffee. And this video is going to be a little bit longer than normal because I actually have a little more time with kids and stuff here before I have to go to work. So there's that. Make sure I get her collar. I don't necessarily really care if I paint on her apron because that's going to be painted white. And make sure I get her arm here. And then her satchel, I'm going to paint a leather. Okay, that makes the most sense to me. Looks like she got some straw hanging out of her bag. I'll go ahead and paint it the same color, just to color it in. It's not going to matter a whole lot. When I add the Seraphim Sepia to it, it's going to make it look more orangish anyway, so. And the colors aren't too far off. One's a little more orange than the other. Now this is where I want to be careful, because I don't want to have to touch up her skirt. So I'm just going to push the paint into that crevice. Oops. And her sleeve here is all yellow, so I think I'm just going to paint her wicker basket, the sun yellow, whatever it is. Sun yellow. Make it look like it was made out of straw. Wicker basket. Looks like she's got bricks in her basket. I can also paint her hat the same color. Look like a straw hat. I'm supposed to go to a gaming event this weekend, and I really would like to take this game, which I can take it with them unfinished, but if I can take it finished, then I don't have to worry about, finishing painting these any other time, and I can move on to another project, which I have at least 2 projects. I mean, I have a lot of projects, but I have 2 that I want to start. Okay, one is some miniatures from the Sword and Sorcerer game, because my intention is to do a playthrough of that with painted miniatures and with viewer aid, which means like when I do the video, I'm going to do segments, and I'm going to have the player or viewers make options to what the character could do. So I'll have an extra character for the viewers to decide what they will do. It's something that Rodney Smith used to do, and I thought it was great. Alright, so she's about done with that. I'm going to go over here and see if I need to do any touch-ups on the hat. Looks like a little... add some there. Like I said, paint shrinks. And you can tell that this yellow is a little chalky. So it's actually going to help to add another coat to it. Make sure I got it all. Add a little more to the bottom. I'm going to add some more canary yellow to her shirt. We need to do some touch-up on her skirt, unfortunately. But that's okay, though. So I'll go ahead and do that now, because it looks like it's pretty much dry. And I'll test it out, too, by trying to push paint over the yellow. The yellow's still a little wet, so I'm going to try to remove it. There we go. So I'm just going to let that dry then. So the next thing I should probably do is paint this wood. So there's this one pig over here's got wood. And then the wheelbarrow over here is wood as well. haven't really done anything to this guy. You know what? I haven't even touched. Of course, this wheel is wood as well. I need to get that angled brush to get underneath it. And I'll end up painting all the bricks brick red. So that makes the most sense, right? All right. That's all I'm going to be able to get of it. Alright, so go back to this guy over here. And start painting this wood. He's got his foot on the log. Which I think he's just showing off at this point. He's got logs in his arms, standing on logs. What a show off. Try not to get it on his pants or on his foot. Now I'm going a little faster than I normally do because I really want to get these done. The lighting's not the best. I mean, I got like an overhead light, but I need more light surrounding me because of the shadows. Like, it would be great if I had one right behind me shining down past me. Trying to paint with the grain, that's for sure. Push the paint into the cracks and crevices. You never want to start at a crack and crevice. You always want to push the paint into it. And make sure you don't have too much on your paintbrush either when you push it, or else it's just going to seep in there and it's going to spill over. You don't want seepage. Seepage is bad. Okay, bad. So I started like near it, but then I pushed the paint this way so I can get the majority of the paint off my brush. And then I'm going to go in, push the remainder into that crack and crevice, so there's no seepage. I do a little dabbing sometimes to make sure I can get into the grain. I think I'm happy with that. Get right here in front of his fingers a little bit better. There we go. Alright. Oh, I must have bumped some of this paint off right here. There we go. Alright, now let's go back to that purple. See if we can push that in. I noticed a spot that I missed on the underneath of the sash that I can go in there and push into. Alright, so her skirt. Push it. There we go. Sweet. Alright, now I can touch up her shirt on the top of the back where it's dried and shrunk a little bit. So I'm gonna do his pants since I've done everyone else's, base clothing. I'm gonna do his a sandy brown. I'm talking about the bricklayer here. So put that back. Put this back. Actually, that kind of goes there. Drink some coffee. And now, pick up this guy. Last thing I want to do on these guys is the linen white, since they're all sharing that color. And it takes up the majority of the coloring on them. And this guy's got like a blue handkerchief hanging out of his pocket too, but I'm going to color that orange because his base is orange, and I'm going to color his hat orange, I think, instead of the olive green, because that makes more sense. And his outfit almost looks green in parts, but I think it's more of a tan. You know what I realized I forgot to do? She's got a scythe that I need to paint the handle of. I'm going to have to use a smaller brush to get in there, maybe. We'll see. Looks like I can get it here. Go with the darker brown now. See a little spot that either dried and came off, or all right. That's too big of a brush. I'll put that back over here. I'll try this one. Okay. I'm gonna do, let's see, he's still kind of drying. Let's see a little place I need to touch up with that sandy. So I think we're gonna do her blue. Marine teal. And then for that bottom part of her skirt, I will use a thinner brush. That way I can make sure I am very detailed and not go over. Maybe I'll be able to get this with this brush here. Looks like I need to let it dry a little bit. So, what do I do now? I guess I need to start with the linen white because there's so much of it. Getting close to a stopping point. I'm at this for a while. It's a creamy ivory. It's not linen white. Let's see here. I want a little better of a detailed brush here. Let's see if I can't do his shirt. Metal colors I'll do last. So like he's got a little gold button here that holds this little sash together. And then the bricklayer has a little metal clasp to hold his bibs on. Like his bib overalls. And then she's got obviously that scythe that needs to be painted a metal color. Those would be the last things I worry about. Trying to make sure I get his arm. I'm gonna have a little bit of touching up to do, but that's okay. All right. So he is about done. I gotta do his toes. I gotta do his hat. So I have to color their toes like a dark. I need to do his hat in the. There's no feathers, so I don't have to worry about that. And then there's some touch-up work, like on the wood, that I kind of pushed the. This brush is smaller, but it's kind of worn a little bit, and so some of the little bristles that are hanging out kind of got the wood. I need to do the button. See if I can do his shirt here. Okay, for her, I think I'm going to pick a different brush, just because that one did not meet my hopes. It's about time for me to get some new brushes. Oops, let's do this one. Oh, that one's got tilt to it. I don't want to mess with that. No, I guess I'll just do this one. And her, I have to paint her little bow. She's got a bow that goes into her hat, and then goes through her hat, and then around her head. And then I'll use a different brush to paint that bow, because there's a lot there. And paint gloves on her hand. To me, because that makes sense, since she's at a market and the way she's dressed. I'm gonna use a bigger brush now, since I've gotten all the small areas. It's a little too much. All right, for this bow back here. Alright, so she's about done too. So there's some little touch-ups I need to do. But the only thing I need to do on her is paint her toes, paint her bricks. Obviously I have to do all their eyes too. I can't forget to do their eyes. They got just little black beady eyes. This one, so she's probably gonna need another coat on her shirt. Some of that pink is starting to show a little through, so I'll just continue on doing what I'm doing. Trying to be very careful. Yeah, so she's about done too. Gotta do some touch-ups on her. The only thing I gotta do on her is I gotta do the middle here. I gotta do her toes, her eyes, this sash here, and maybe some touch-ups. And she's about done. Oh man. I need to also, since I have the marine here, I need to go ahead and touch up that since that's dry. Excuse me. And then I got this guy over here, the bricklayer. I gotta do his shirt. And I'm about done with him. paintbrush is not very good. Let's switch to a different one. Part of the reason I need to do so much touch-up is my hands shake a lot. And I don't know why. It's always been like that. So, doing like that since I can remember. He's coming along though. He's probably the easiest one to do the shirt on all of them because of his bibs and just having the wheelbarrow in front of him. So let's go ahead and try to touch up some of this. Oh, sandy here. So I could put some fingerprints on it. So I touched it when it wasn't completely dry. Trying to get into his belly underneath the wagon here. It's very hard to do so. So if you can't see it, I guess it's okay. So he's about done. The only thing I need to do is his toes, his eyes, his hat, and the bricks, and some little touch-ups. So we're right there. We're just going to call it a day because I do need to get in the shower and get ready for work. But thanks for tuning in this longer video. And hopefully next video I can actually complete these guys. And then I can show you all the miniatures completed fully. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time.